Hey guys, welcome back. My name is DJ. I'm with stayinourhome.com. We are talking about today the small things on how we get started within the short-term rental business. A little bit about where I came from. I've been in this business for 32 years. We started with our first short-term rental back in 1990 and built it up from there. We now have 32 short-term rentals. We have another, I think, 160 beds left on college campuses, and we've got 63 long-term rentals left out of 122. We last year and a half, with the prices being so high, we've sold off a good chunk of what we've had available. But for this episode, we're talking about what you can do to prepare to buy your first short-term rental. Basically, the first thing we want to do is ask ourselves, what do we want to accomplish with this short-term rental? Do we want to use it for extra income? Do we want to buy a house on the beach and use that as people that go in there and stay to make the payments on the house for 20 years, so that way when I retire, I've got a house that's free and clear and I can sell this one and move down there and retire? Do we want to basically just make it an investment property and use the first one as a stepping stone to learn, and after that point we can decide whether we want to buy more investment properties? That's basically what happened to me. I enjoyed the real estate business. Like I said, I've been in this for 32 years. It's been a very, very good run. I got into doing the podcast and YouTube thing because it was something I was afraid of. I'm not a great speaker. Hopefully over time, hopefully over the next 25, 30 episodes, I get a little better at it. And hopefully you guys keep tuning in and see my progress and see where it goes. You know, if you don't know how to do something and you're scared to do it, just jump in and do it. Everything gets easier. My first unit that I bought on a college campus when I was going to college. I bought it off campus for me and 4 buddies and rented it out to those other 4, paid the unit off by the time I left college. That's how I got started in this business. I put every dime towards it. And I didn't use conventional financing because back in the early 90s, money wasn't cheap. So I basically had an owner that wanted to get rid of a condo, and he said, hey, look, if you come up with $5,000 down, I'll carry the mortgage. So I borrowed $12,000 from 4 of my college buddies, bought the house. We all moved into it, and they paid me rent every month, of which I in turn paid my mortgage back to the homeowner, and then I paid those guys back also at the same time. Every dime that came in from rent went to somebody. Like I said, in 4.5 years, I had that thing paid off. There's a lot of people out there that are firm believers of buying the property, taking all the equity out of it, and going and buying another property. That's fine if that's the route you want to go, and you never really want to own anything, and the bank owns it. Just remember, you only lose money when you buy the property. What do I mean by that? Well, if you buy a house for $100,000, you get a 30-year note on it. Today's interest rates, let's call it 3%. You're going to be making a payment of around $430 a month, of which the first 15 to 17 years, your interest is going to be $400. So you're only paying $100 or $80 or $90 towards the principal. So you're really not going to have any true equity in that house. Because if you keep that house for 30 years, you're going to pay $325,000 for that $100,000 house. And when you go to sell it for, if you got lucky and you're in a prime location and that house appreciated by tenfold and now it's worth, $550,000, $600,000, yeah, you're going to have equity in it. But those are few and far between. They're in a 10% area. But if you do normal rural America, where you buy a house for $100,000 and in 30 years it's worth $150,000 or $180,000 or $200,000, you're still upside down $100,000 because you paid the bank all that interest. If you take that mortgage, you pay as much as you can on it, and if you pay 3 extra payments a year, you can take a 30-year note down to 12 years. If you pay 4 extra payments a year, you can take that 30-year note down to 10-year note. So I never recommend using a 30-year note when you're buying a piece of property. I always try to tell people to do a 20-year or a 15-year if you can afford it. And that's the great thing about short-term rentals, is they make that more affordable. With short-term rentals, if you've got a $100,000 house and you've got a $450 mortgage, depending on where you're at in the country on taxes, that $100,000 house is probably going to have $1,200 to $2,000 unless you're in Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, a few of the lower southern states where they don't tax the actual building, they only tax the land. It's a lot more affordable. But let's say you're everywhere else in the country and you've got $250 a month in taxes. Then you've got insurance, which is probably going to be another $80 to $100. We'll just call it $100. We're at $650, $750 right now. And then if you take 10% of everything you make and you put that in another side account for capital improvements, which you need to do because there's always going to be something that goes wrong with that house and you're going to need the money. Otherwise, you got to go borrow the money and then you're in another ship to where now you're paying interest on another loan to pay for something that you're already paying interest on, and you're never going to get ahead. But if you put 10% at the side, on a short-term rental on $100,000, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and you're making $110, let's just call it easy. Let's do an easy number. If you're making $100 a night and you got an 80% occupancy rate, that's 23 times a month that it's rented. So you got $2,300, and you got $800 in interest, insurance, and mortgage. So you just made $1,400 a month. Now you take $140 out of that, and you put that aside in another account. In 5 years, you can basically pay for anything that goes wrong with that house at any given time. Whether it be a roof, whether it be siding, whether it be a hot water heater, where you need to remodel the bathroom, any of that kind of stuff. You want to be able to pay for that yourself. I am a firm believer of paying these houses off as soon as you possibly can. I know there's a lot of people out there that say, no, you don't want to do that, just keep paying the bank. Well, you're not going to get the wealthy portion of it if you keep paying the bank. Yeah, you're going to make some money, but you're not going to make as much money as if you would. If I don't owe anything on that house, if Jimmy over here owes $800 a month and he's making $2,300 a month in rents and he's doing everything he should be doing, so he's only making $1,000 a month off that house, and I've paid the house off, now I'm making the $2,300 a month, and I've already got my 10% set aside. So I'm going to have $24,000 a year where he's only going to have 10 to 12 max. And if I repeat that times 10, now I got 240,000, he's got 120. My lifestyle is going to be a little bit better than his. And that's what we all want, is a better lifestyle. That's why we're getting into the short-term rental business, is to either A, improve our lifestyle, investment properties, or our retirement home. And again, if you're doing it for a retirement home and you're just buying one, sure, the 30-year mortgage is probably going to work for you, because you're going to, if you're in your 30s, you're not going to retire till you're 60, and then you're just going to take your retirement fund, move to where you're at, and be happy with what you got. But that's not what I wanted to accomplish. I bought these as investment properties only, and I paid them off as fast as I could, so that by the time I got to where I'm at right now, I'm 52 years old, and I don't have to work if I don't want to. So here I am doing a podcast talking to you fine folks. Number 2, what do I know about property management? This is another question you want to ask yourself before you get into this. If you know 0, that's fine. At the end of this podcast, 30 episodes, how many ever it takes me to get through all this stuff, you'll know a lot more. And I think you'll be well prepared to go buy your first property. If you want to hire a management company to do this for you, that's fine. Short-term rentals are very, very easy to manage. You need 3 things. You need, number 1, the will to be able to do it. Number 2, you need a really good handyman. Number 3, you need a really good cleaner. That's it. If you've got those 3 things in place, you can be very successful on your own. You do not need to pay somebody 30, 25, 30, and then take out all the fees for these other companies or these other platforms that are out there. You know, that's going to end up costing you 40% by the time it's all said and done. So your $1,000 profit just went to $600 because you're paying somebody else to do it. You know, I'm going to teach you to be able to manage this place yourself. I mean, that's what you want to accomplish. You want to put the most money that you're making in your pocket. Number 3, where are you going to buy this piece of property? Are you going to buy it in your neighborhood? Are you going to buy it in your town? Are you going to buy it in your state? Are you going to buy it out of state? Are you going to buy it out of country? If you're a first-time STR, short-term renter, don't buy it out of country. You don't have the know-how. You don't have the ability. It will cause you major headaches. Don't do that. Out of state, that's fine. By the time we get done with all this, you'll be able to manage that property out of state by yourself. Very easy to do. Again, you just need to be able to travel there, get things set up, get everything in place, and then come home and put up your listing and start renting it. And then just make a few phone calls a week to get it clean and to get a handyman in that area and get everything working. It's very, very simple. Number 4, ask yourself, how much time do you want to put into this? This is going to be kind of a big deal. If you just want to buy the property, hand it over, be done, use it as a retirement or somewhat of an investment property and hand it over to somebody else, fine. You got deep pockets and keep on going. But if you want to maximize your dollars, you're going to have to put a little bit of effort into this. So the effort is in setting yourself up for success, knowing what you're getting into. Keep tuning in with us. We'll get that taken care of. I promise you. 5, what is my budget? Okay, budget is a big deal. What can I afford? You need to be able to, if something goes wrong, if a downturn goes, if you don't have somebody in there for 2 months, can you afford to make the payments? On a short-term rental, it's very easy because you don't touch your money, ever. We're not in this to put that money in our pocket. If you're doing it to put that money in your pocket, something's going to come up and you're going to end up screwing yourself. For the first 2 years, you cannot touch that money. Because during that first 2-year period, you need to know what that house is going to generate. So, buying that $100,000 house, renting it out, getting it going, renting it 80%, keeping it 80% occupied at $100 a night. So that's $2,300 a month. That's 24 and 36. That's $27,600. That's what that house is generating each year. So you need to know those exact numbers at all times. Don't buy a property if you're emotional. If you just fall in love with this property and you'll pay any dollar to get it, you're only going to lose money when you buy the property. At our peak, when we were buying properties, we were making 100 offers a week to maybe buy 2 to 4 a month. I mean, it's got to work for you. It doesn't matter about the person selling the house. You don't know that person. Doesn't matter if you're going to hurt their feelings. It's about what you can afford. Don't overextend yourself. Don't go out of the way. Don't get emotional about property. If you're emotional about property and you put short-term renters in this property, when they damage the floors, when they steal your towels, when they break your brand new pots that you put in there, when they piss on your bed and ruin this brand new sheets you just bought, you're going to have nightmare dreams. You can't be emotional about rental property at all. You need to treat it as a business and run it as a business. If everything is perfect, that person will be happy. You're going to get some bad tenants. Everybody gets them. I may just do a whole podcast on my bad tenants. Oh my gosh, we can have a laugh about that. There's crazy people out there, trust me. But if you're emotional about these things, you're not going to have a good time. This is going to be very upsetting to you, and it will make you go away from it, and then your income is going to go to a long-term rental, and then you're going to maybe skate by getting that paid off, and you're not going to make the good amount of profits that you can with the short-term rental business. Lastly, when it comes to knowing what you want to do, if you know nothing, absolutely nothing about this business, and you want to get into it, you need to do one thing. You need to go on to Google, search writing a business plan. There's 100 free business plan writers out there. Go on there, pick one out, and start writing a business plan on what you want to accomplish. You're going to go through this thing. It's going to be 25 pages long. Fill everything out. Do the research. It's going to ask you questions. You're going to go, well, I don't know anything about that. Get on Google. Research it. It's going to ask you for financials. You don't know. Get on stayinourhome.com. Look up what people are charging in your area. Get on the other competitors' websites. Look up what they're charging in your area. Figure it out. Take your information on what kind of house you're going to buy in your area. If you're going to buy a 2-3, which is or a 3-2, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. in your area. I don't know. Prices of houses are all over the place, all over the country. Here in Champaign, Illinois, they are outrageously priced, outrageously taxed. Tennessee, great prices. You know, a 3-2, 1,800 square foot house is 150 grand with 5 acres. Up here, that house is 350,000. You know, it's what you can afford and what you can do. Maybe you need to go out of state and buy that property so you can buy a lesser expensive property to get people to come there. Make the property unique to you. Make it unique to your people that are staying there. You know, you want to stand out. But writing this business plan will make you think about those things. It's going to make you write goals. Goals are very, very important. It's going to make you write down 1-month goals, 12-month goals, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Here's the things we don't care about. 10-year, 5-year, 13-month. All we care about is month number 1, month number 2, month number 3, month number 4. Stick to the small goals and make them realistic. Don't plug in a number you don't know. Don't put information down there that you don't know what you're putting down there. You're just trying to fill space. Do your research. Be honest with yourself. If you can't look in the mirror at yourself and say, this is me, this is who I am, I'm 52 years old, I'm 40 pounds overweight, I have a great life, and I'm enjoying myself. I'm scared to death of doing this podcast, but I'm doing it. We got to do it. Sit down and write that plan. It will make you that much better and that much more prepared. It'll give you answers you didn't know that you wanted to know. So, with that being said, I need everybody that's watching this to ask me questions. That's how we're going to continue this podcast. I've got the next 10 scripted out and figured out where I want to go. The next episode is going to start with setting up your business, setting up what you're going to buy the first time or how you're going to buy it, what you're going to do for mortgage, how you're going to find out about a piece of property, where you want to buy a piece of property. It's going to set up your financials. It's also going to set up your business. It's going to set up your EIN. It's going to set up your bank accounts, find an attorney, find a CPA, all that. So, again, I really, really appreciate y'all tuning into this. Thank you. I look forward to the next one. I really do. I'm not quite as scared anymore after 2, but hey, if you don't know how to do something, I always say just do it. And again, if you guys got questions, ask them down below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends. Do whatever you need to do. Sit down with friends. Start telling people what you're thinking about doing. Make yourself accountable. Say, okay, yeah, I'm gonna buy a short-term rental. Make people aware of it. It'll make you. People are gonna start asking you later on, hey, how'd that short-term rental go? It's gonna make you accountable. You have to be accountable during this business. It's all on you. You own the property. Anything that goes wrong is your fault. If you make it perfect, there's nothing to go wrong. But again, hey guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Ask me any question you want. I'm an open book. I will tell you anything. Again, we've got 5 or 6 episodes already written out with bullet points ready to go. I'm starting from scratch, working my way up to the end of buying 1, 2, 3, maybe multiples. But I'm thinking that we're going to get this done in 30 episodes. I'm going to try and release 2 episodes, maybe 3 a week, and go that route. Let me know how I'm doing. Again, I already told you, I'm not a great speaker, but I hope to get better at this. I hope I keep your interest. And if you stayed this long, thank you very much, and see you on the next one.